Hello everyone, my name is Sai and I am making this video in response to a recent BBC documentary that was aired titled India's Daughter. Before I get started, my mother once told me that there are three aspects to telling any truth. One, the intention with which you want to tell the truth, the action of telling the truth in itself, and the perception you set across after having said the truth. Now, let us say for a moment that the BBC documentary had honest intentions. The action obviously did a soul stirring job too. However, I just want to ask, have you succeeded in setting the right perceptions? If the video's intention was to portray the safety of women in my country, I wish you had allotted at least 10 minutes time to show the efforts we make for it. If you if your video was meant to inspire any action, I wish you showed how concerned and vigilant every Indian family is about their daughter. And if your video was meant to show how women in India need support in their battle for equality and justice, I wish you had shown the thousands and millions of men who are fighting every day to achieve that. You're laughing now, aren't you? How can thousands and millions of men fight for women's safety? Well, know this, when you could show a defense lawyer talking filth about women in my country, I only wish you had cross checked if that was the majority view. Dear BBC, India is not that lawyer. For every India's daughter, there is a son who bows down to touch his mother's feet for everyday blessing. For every India's daughter, there is her brother who is silently working hard to get her educated and make her independent. For every India's daughter, there is a friend who constantly inspires her to plan her career and bring the little choice in her life. And for every India's daughter, there is a promise from a brother that gives her protection all life. The collective majority of Indian men who not only treat their women as equals but also live for their soul happiness far outweigh the number of men who eye and ogle those girls on the street. However, I know that is not a story that will sell in the West. Why would anyone in the West want to know of how tight-knit an Indian family is? Why would anyone want to know the kind of values that our culture imparts in us? Because all you want to know is our misery and failures. Probably you want to find happiness in your own life knowing how difficult it is to live in a third world country. And if that isn't so, if your real purpose is to get those women find justice, I think India is the last place you should begin to fight that battle in. Plain statistics will tell that. Unfortunately, we are big country. We are 16% of the world. We are robbed and stripped of our economic wealth for 200 years by your country. You rape our image every day for your pleasure. But let me tell you, India was, is, and will always be the moral conscience of world culture. You may portray us as negatively as you want. You may call us slumdog millionaires, show statistics on our daughters being raped, but the truth is quite far from that. The truth of the matter is, my country is going through a crisis in its ability to deliver speedy justice through systems and processes, a crisis in countering economic frustration with prosperity, a crisis in keeping our constitution faithful to our historic ideals and modern ideas, and above all, a crisis in our ability to portray an accurate image in global arena. But trust me, we are getting there. I just want to tell you all that just as Kim Kardashian does not represent every American woman, just as Justin Bieber does not represent musical virtuosity, those defense lawyers and extreme views that you constantly portray about my culture do not represent the average Indian society. If you want to know India, do not see it from the view of a tragic incident. If you want to show India, do not show an imbalanced view. If you want to understand India, start by knowing how every Indian father's greatest joy is on the day he sees his daughter married and builds her life on her own. Behind every India's daughter, my dear West, is also an honest and silent Indian father, brother, friend, and love. Unfortunately, the media shows only the criminal. Hope it finds a balanced view soon. Thank you.